Are we there yet? No, I'm not talking about the family fun movie with Ice Cube. I'm talking about, are we there at the end of this mortgage process? That's the way a lot of people feel when they go through. I went in. What takes so long? Are we there yet? When are we going to get to the finish line and be able to sign the documents? So, a little bit of insight into what does take so long. There's a lot that actually goes into the lending process. That's why, in general, you see people want to take 30 days, kind of depending on the property type, sometimes 45. There are also people, Prosperity Home Mortgage included, that can do it as quick as 2 weeks. But the reason it takes so long, a lot of that is around the documentation that you have to gather. There's a lot of documentation that goes in for an investor to feel comfortable with the loan. They want to document all the income, assets, credit, documentation around the property. And once they get those documents, a lot of times there are questions about that. Great example, we may ask for a bank statement. But if on that bank statement there's a deposit, say of a few $1,000s, they're going to want to know what that deposit is. If the deposit was, say, from the sale of something, they're going to need to see the bill of sale. So there's never something that we can just make an assumption about the answer or just take a verbal answer. There's always documentation that has to go along with it for the investor to feel totally comfortable with the source. That happens throughout the lending process. And because there's a lot of open conversation that goes into it, it does take a little bit longer. There's also the appraisal part of the process. So appraising the home, you might look at it and say, well, let's just send somebody out there. But it is, really contingent on an appraiser being available. And then once they get out there, they have to do the review. They have to look at the market. They have to see what comparable homes are doing. They put together a report. Then they send it to us. We have to review it to make sure that it's okay. So there's a lot of moving parts that go into a loan process. And that back and forth, especially around the questions around the documentation and the underwriting part of the process, is what makes it feel like, are we there yet? So some advice that I can give to everyone out there, start early. Statistics show that when people are out there shopping for a home, the first thing they do, go online and look at homes. If I could toss out the suggestion, one of the first things, if not the first thing you should do, is talk to your lender. You want to know exactly what's in front of you, exactly what you're approved for. So when you are looking online, you know exactly the price range that you can afford, the area that you really should be kind of looking at as your sweet spot. Another thing that you could do, especially somebody like Prosperity Home Mortgage, is work on a program like our Buyer's Advantage process. That allows you to start the process while you're shopping. Most of the time, you can't start the process until you have a signed contract. And that's what makes things a little more compressed and a little more stressful. So start the process as early as possible. It'll make things much more stress-free, and it'll make the process not feel like, are we there yet? I hope everyone has an outstanding day. Take care.